My name is Pavel. I work for Transneft. Last time I talked about our customization of the web interface. We'll continue this discussion in more general terms. We had some test drive of the system and we brought together some of the comments. If you split them by groups, you can see that the users were not happy with the approval form. That's about 50 comments. Then they didn't really like the basket, the request for roles, and the log of requests. And I talked about the way we customized the access requests, and I have heard some similar issues from my colleagues. And when we have a role from SAP, which is split into 100 roles dependent on the organizational belonging and some other things, so we decided we solved this problem by a tree structure. Initially, we made this for the files. So you pick the file resource. If there is an ADA group attached to it, then some ticks pop up. You tick it further, and then you can pick the roles if they are available. So for the shared resources, that can be the role for like read and write and so on. But then we started adding SAP, and we saw that this is something which works really well with the offsets. When we need to generate many business roles based on many business parameters, like membership in the organization, access to the functions of a given department. And for integration with the SAP, we added a visor for some extra ticks. Then the IDM can calculate this, and it adds to the basket only the roles needed. So this way we canceled 1 million roles in the IT shop. So we simplified it this way. The most problematic issue was the approval form. I believe that's because we have the electronic paper flow introduced in the company, and the users, they are very picky. And we solved most of the things this way. When the workflow is very branchy and complex, we have a stage-by-stage approval procedure. This is the right part of the screen. So we can see these consequential steps or sequential steps. Then we added some groups of approvals. If there is a department approving it, it can be collapsed and then popped up again if you like it. Some new things. We received quite a lot of complaints on the request log. Why so? Because now our company, the heads of projects and service managers, they add this request, so whoever does it, but not the technical experts. So both of them have questions. How to consider the request I have provided? So this is the ERP guys ask, and the engineers say, what is going on with my request? So the in-house implementation is, well, such a way that every second ERP guy made a lot of complaints. That's why we decided to redo this request log. So the number one thing, we have a dedicated stage, my requests, so only the current requests. So the current requests are those which are under the approval stage, or on the implementation stage, or rejected. So why did we add the rejected ones? This is natural. So if I track it every day and then it becomes rejected, I don't want to be looking for it into the ocean of previously sent requests. So I have an archive. So we have an archive here. This is another thing you can tick and have a look at all the previous requests. And if the request is rejected, well, I would say that you don't need access to it anymore, so you can send it to the archive, so you can see it only in the past requests. The next case they asked for was to be able to quickly see the previously considered requests and what happened to them. So we have a dedicated tile for this, so we have the filters and you can group it.
В нашей компании очень часто любят отклонять.
In our company, they really like rejecting access.
Но штатно нет такого функционала,
And we don't have this built-in functions to send a request for repeated approval with the same justification and with the same approvers and the same files we had in the previous basket. We added these functions. You can send it again. You can make one justification for all the new requests if this is required. And this really simplified life and covered about half complaints. We also added a stage called History of Approval. They can see all the numbers of requests prior this one. All these requests are clickable. You can click on it and see the parts of it, the requests approved and denied. All the users ask for reports, the business users and the information security guys. The most topical issue was like that. I have sent a request, I went on a vacation, and whom can I delegate the right to look at my requests? So I believe that pressing the delegate button is not a proper thing, so we have a separate tile request on my department. This is a web report, and there you can see all the requests made for the workers in the department or by the workers of the department for themselves or for somebody else. And this is pretty convenient, and it covered many user complaints. And this is not difficult to do. So some other functions, maybe you have seen it, the ERP guys really wanted the justification field to be filled in. And the initial picture wasn't very beautiful, so we decided to customize it. So if the justification field is not, well, is empty, it generates identification, and to the right you can see a message saying which exactly field is not, well, which field is empty. Then some reports. I think IDM is for. Well, IDM primarily deals with the requests approved by the IDM. This is an issue for big companies because there are many requests, several millions. And to run the rectification process is a difficult thing, especially in the bureaucratic organization. So we need to do the rectification, we need to plan for this, do it stage by stage, but the question is what to do now. So we had to redo this report, and now they deal with the UNS environment. So they deal with the groups and access groups from SAP. And if you use a lot of difficult scripts, they can see the situation. So we can see that in the report that this access was granted based on a business role or by a direct assignment, for instance. And the second is the user access. This is another important report. This is for printing out for the management, if they need it. The report is an add-on to the conventional report. It deals with all the UNS environment, and even if you connect a system which is not connected through the conventional connector, then the report will have it. So you can see when the user joined, to see whether the user is logged, whether the user is logged on an incident, when the user was logged, and which accesses were logged and which were not. And this is important when you have a system for sending requests to the admins and deparsing it and showing the user information. Some plans for the future. Now we are building the role model. That's what we are going to do in the near future. I believe that colleagues from Lemoda can help us. We have integration with the HPSM, the ticket system. We want to roll it out, and I think about further improvement of this. If you have very deep experience on this, please let us know. We are also missing hyperlinks in reports. Reports are very busy, and we don't know how to generate hyperlinks using conventional built-in tools for this. And our colleagues have talked about the access delegation form. We have the same system as in Lamoda. We have the business owner. And if the guys have many services, then this delegation form becomes a mess. You cannot use it. People have about 100 roles for delegation, and this has to be helped somehow. Thank you for your attention, and you are welcome with your questions.